If you want to learn how to make a fireball attack in Roblox, make sure to watch the whole video and like and subscribe so you won't miss any future videos on Roblox Studios or Battlecast or Sonic, stuff like that. Okay, so what we're first going to do is create a local script in the starter player scripts folder. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to first define our variables. So first we're going to define our user input service variable. User input service equals game dot get service user input service. This is how we're going to basically bind a button to the fireball action after we code it in. And then we're going to define the player, which is just game dot players dot local player. Since we're in a local script, we can define the local player. That only works in the local script when using a local script and not a normal script. And then with character, we're just going to make that char, and we're going to make it equal nil for now. And then the local humanoid is going to equal nil. And the humanoid root part, which is going to be called root, is going to equal nil as well. And the way we're going to set the char to the character and the humanoid, and the humanoid root to its respective parts, is by doing this. So if player dot character, then char equals player dot character. If char dot find first child humanoid, then humanoid equals char dot humanoid. Okay, if char dot find first child humanoid root part, then root equals char dot humanoid root part. So this script, basically this if statement, is checking to see if the player's character is already present. So if the script turns on and it notices the player's character is there, it will just set the variables to its respective objects. But if the player dies, what will happen is basically the player's character gets reset. So these variables right here will equal nil. So in order to counter that and make so the script won't basically crash on itself and stop working, we're going to use player.character added as well. Player.character added dot connect function character. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, and the character, well, the char is going to equal character. Oops, character. And I'm going to say if not char dot find first child humanoid, then humanoid equals char dot wait for child humanoid, and then humanoid equals char dot humanoid. If not char dot find first child humanoid root part. Then root equals char colon wait for child humanoid root part. Then the root equals char dot humanoid root part. So basically what this is doing is if the character gets reloaded, a new character gets added, it sets the new character, it basically sets the new character to the previous char variable, and then checks to see if the humanoid and humanoid root part is currently present in that character. If it's not, then wait for the humanoid and humanoid root part to spawn, well, to be loaded, and then set the variable. If the humanoid's already there, it's just going to set the humanoid to char that humanoid. This is how I do it in my scripts, because I used to have that issue where if you die, basically everything messes up. So I'm not sure if it's the best way to do it, but this is the way that works for me consistently. So now working on the analysis, we're going to move on to the actual user input service. Well, the input. So, and actually I forgot to do one thing that's important here. I need to make a debounce, because the debounce is going to make sure when I press the button to fire the fireball, it waits till the fireball animation has ended and has waited a certain amount of time before it allows me to fire again. I don't want it so the player will be able to spam fireballs really, really quickly. I want it to have a little bit of a delay. So user input service dot input began dot connect function input. So now this right here in the parameter is going to be our input, what we pressed. So we are going to do if input.keycode equals enum dot input key code dot we'll just do f. Then I need to add an extra equal sign here. Then and debounce equals false. We need to set a debounce to true, so it won't fire again when we don't want it to. And then now we need to go ahead and create an event in replicated storage. So we're going to put in a folder first, and we're going to call it event. And then we're going to create an actual remote event, and we're going to call it the fireball event. Fireball. So basically what the remote event does is allows the client and the server to talk to one another. So basically the client can tell the server, hey, this person pressed the F button, so you should make a fireball. And then the server understands what the client's trying to tell it, and then it goes ahead and makes a fireball appear. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to say game dot replicated storage dot fire that event dot fireball event dot fire server, and then we're going to let's just wait 5 seconds, and then we are going to set the debounce equal to false. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go and create a server script, and we're going to call this shoot fireball, I guess. And I'm going to say shoot fireball server. So now what we got to do is we got to do game dot replicate storage dot events dot fireball event dot on server connect dot colon connect function. Now it's got a player. So now this function is going to be used when you press the F button, and then it's going to fire this function because the client is firing. Basically, it's starting the remote event connection. So what we're gonna do local char equals player dot character local root equals player dot humanoid root part. And I think that's all we need. So now we're going to have to leave it here for a second because we're going to need to do two things. First thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to create a fireball. So let's just make a basic fireball right now. We're going to call fireball. We are going to, oops, not create another part. We're going to make, we're going to turn into a ball. We're going to make it smaller. We're going to make it like 2x2x2. Make it so it can't collide. We're going to make it red, really red. And yeah, so we're going to just throw this in the replicated storage, create a folder, and we're going to call this player storage. Let's call it player storage, and we're going to put it in. Now what we're going to need to do is make an animation. So what we're going to need to do, we're going to need to build a rig, and we're going to, I'm just going to use this right now. So I got one. And so now what we need to do is make an animation. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a little basic animation. So let's just go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do is export this. And I'm going to name this Fireball Animation. And I'm just going to say shoot fireball. Okay. And so right here is the most important part you need to make sure you copy, because this is the ID to your animation. So make sure you get this copied. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this animation. And I'm going to take this. And I'm going to just paste it in the script right now. I'm just going to paste it in right now. And so what we need to do now is we're going to have to do local, and then I was going to say local aiming equals instance dot new animation. Anim dot animation ID equals, and so now what we're gonna need to do, well, yeah, we can just copy the whole thing. We'll just copy. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and quickly go ahead and go to the animate script just so I can copy the link and change the ID number, because I do not remember exactly how to type it in. So I'm just going to go to your aiming. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my script and I'm going to paste it in, but I'm going to change the ID number and replace it with this. So now what we're going to do is local move equals humanoid dot load animation anim, and then we're going to say move dot play. Oops, play. Now we're gonna wait 1, and then we're gonna fire the server. The reason why I'm waiting 1 in this situation is because at 1, in my animation at least, this is when it has its hands up and in that pose to fire a fireball right here. So I'm waiting 1 second. This might be different if you don't use mine, but this is what I'm going to do for mine. And since we're waiting, yeah, okay, let's go. Let's go to shoot fireball server. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a clone of the replicated, the fireball and the replicated storage. So we're going to say local clone equals, also don't do C. Well, you could do C, but I'm going to do K because so it won't be confusing. But it equals game dot replicated storage dot player storage dot fireball dot clone, because you know this has a C, so it's trying to make it different, and I'm going to make it a K. But what we're going to do clone dot position equals, clone dot position equals, I'm going to do C frame. C frame equals humanoid, I'm going to say equals humanoid root part dot C frame plus root dot C frame dot look vector I'm gonna say times 2. No, I'm gonna do times 3. What I'm doing right here is the root dot, I'm just taking the root dot C frame and I'm adding it to the look vector. And the look vector is basically where the root is looking towards. It's just adding to the C frame. So it's making it positioning the fireball a little bit ahead of the root humanoid part. I'm not really sure if this is the right value. I might have to change it because I haven't tested it. But this might be good. I'm not sure. But we'll see. Local position equals instance dot new body velocity. So the body velocity, what we're going to do here is we're going to basically, we are making it so the fireball will move straight forward. So how we're going to do this, we're going to do the position dot max force equals vector 3 dot new 400. Well, that's not 400, but yeah. What this is doing is it's making sure that the root, that the fireball is going to go, only going to go where the body velocity is telling it to go. It's not going to be affected by anything. It's not going to be affected by gravity or basically anything. So the position dot velocity is going to equal the clone dot C frame dot look vector times 10, basically. So this is going to make it so the clone is going to move straight line from where it's looking. And this 10 right here is defining how fast you want it to go. And so now I'm going to do game.degrees.add item. Oh, it's a colon add. I don't know why I keep saying dot, but yes. So that's going to equal clone, and we do 5 seconds. So you can change this in what game.degrees add items doing is after 5 seconds, it's going to delete the clone. So depending on how long you want the fireball to last for destroying, you need to change the second parameter. This is all you need to do on the server. All you need to do on the server script, and this should work now, unless I mess something up, which I don't think I did. Let's see. Oh no. Okay. Wait. Oops. That was my mistake. This needs to be character. That was a silly mistake, but now it should be fixed. Let's try again. Come on. Oh, no, there is an issue. There's another issue I forgot to change. clone dot parent needs to be, well, I need to make it the workspace. You don't have to do the workspace. Well, you need the clone to have a parent. You need to set the parent. Because if you don't, then the clone will not. The clone of Fireball will not show up. So we're just gonna say it's gonna be workspace right now. So yes, it's working. The only issue right now is that the animation is not loading. And let me fix that. I need to make this action so it won't be overridden by some other animations. Because basically, the animations have priority. So basically, core has the least priority, and action has the highest priority. So for example, if you have an animation of you moving and it was set to a movement priority, but you had an attack that was set to an action priority, the attack animation will be prioritized, so your walking animation will be canceled for this. So yeah, that is could be very helpful in some situations, but it doesn't really matter to us right now. Too much. So yeah, looks like it's working. Wait, try again. Yeah, it's working fine. But there's one other thing that we need to do. We need to give it a damage script. So basically, we need to make it so when it hits another person, when it hits something, if it hits another person, or like an NPC or something, it will damage it. So what we're gonna do is script.parent.touch.connect, and hopefully you know what how touched works, because I did it in my other tutorial to show you how to do it. So we're gonna do function hit, and we're gonna say if local hum equals hit.parent find first child humanoid. If hum, then we're gonna say, we need debounce 2. Local debounce equals false. If hum and debounce equals false, then debounce equals true. They say script.parent. Actually, hold on. Let's just do this for conveniency. We're going to create an int value real quick. No, we're going to do a number value, because int values will only let you do whole numbers. Number value. And we're going to call it damage value. We're going to set it to 20. So if you want to change the damage of the fireball, just change its damage value and it will work in the script. Because what we're going to do, we're going to say hum.health equals hum.health minus script.damage value. Let's see, not script.damage. It's going to be script.parent.damage value. Value. And we're going to disable this script, and we're going to go ahead and call it DMG script, because why not? And then we're going to make it so it destroys itself. So script.parent.destroy. And also another side note, if you don't want to hit other players, what you can do is you can just do local player equals game.players get player from character, and put in the hum, then you say and not blur. This will make it so if the hum, basically what it's doing, I gotta do hum up here actually. What it's doing is that it's taking the parent of the humanoid, which is a character, and checking to see if that character is associated with any of the players in the game. And if it is, then the local player is going to equal true. If it's not, then it's going to equal false. And so basically, if you set it like this, it'll only hit non-players like this person. But if you had a friend who played the game, got in the game, and you shot a fireball at your friend, then it would not affect, it would not do any of this. So yeah, we're going to delete this because in this situation, doesn't really matter to me. I'll just leave this here in case you want to copy that. But yeah, we're going to call this damage strip. So right now, what we need to do is we need to say clone.dmg script dot disabled equals false. And now it will function. It's a function. Fine. So as you can see, hold on, actually, I think it'll be better if I go ahead and grab this and I drop him to the floor. And so as you can see, we're gonna go here and you can see, actually what? I spelled disabled wrong. There we go. Yeah, I spelled disabled wrong. So that was a mistake. Hold on. We're gonna do it again. And look, see? It is taking damage. Oh, actually, I took damage that time. What I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna make a string. And I'm going to call it player name. And what we're going to do real quick is we're going to say if script.player name script.parent player name value does not equal hum dot parent dot name. Now what this is going to do is check to make sure that your character is not getting hit with the fireball. So just in case, because we don't want to make it so you will die to your own fireball. But the thing is, right now this is blank, so we got to go to the server script and we're going to say clone. Well, we got to do that before just in case, so we'll mess up. But clone dot player name dot value is going to equal the char dot name. One more thing, because there's also the issue of this player thing. This is actually quite easy to fix. Delete it. If they find a human first, throw the player in here. And if you want to make it so it's exclusive, if it makes sure make it so it's not player, then you will put it in after you check for the hue. But I'm not doing that, so I'm deleting it. Now it should work. I hope this works. And yeah, just a little minor mistakes, but it works. Of course, you could do it much better than this. You could add particles or stuff like that. But this is the basics to making your own abilities in Roblox. And also, I'm going to just go ahead and reduce the cooldown. Yeah, the other basic. So now, with this in mind, you can go ahead and make your own scripts. actually, one more thing. The animation looks kind of funny when you are running. If you probably noticed that. So a way to fix that is go ahead and add keyframes to every part in the character. This will make it so, since this is an action that has a very high priority, this will make it so you will not see the animation. You will not see the basically, you will not see it going. You won't see the all the other parts that are not affected by the animation. Basically, do the normal walk, the run animation. So we're just going to fill them all in, copy here, and then paste there. Whoops, that was not intentional. But lucky for me, I have one right here. I can just go ahead and fix that. Delete, fix, and it should still work, right? Okay, yeah, still works. We're going to export that to Fireball animation. Play. And yeah, it works. So yeah, it's good. It works pretty good. So there you go. So now you can go ahead and do what you want to do with this Fireball script. And if you like what you see, what you just saw, make sure to put a like, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos like this in the future.